Alright guys, so we're gonna fucking get right into this here. Sorry about the no videos in the past couple of days, been a little sicky, and as well, yeah, I mean the slates haven't been too hot as of late. I mean honestly yesterday was decent, it's a shame I couldn't get a video for that, but nonetheless we are back today, so we're gonna look at I have 8 plays cooked up for today. Honestly, I didn't really get a chance to kind of narrow this down to like my 4 plays of the day or anything like that. These are honestly just like, 4 props that I did a lot more research on, and then 4 plays as far as some games today that should be competitive and some outcomes that I would ultimately expect, and I think that there is some good value in these. And we will just quickly take a look at what happened on February 20th here. So I'm just going to quickly pull up the stats, pull up the scores. We're going to go back to the 20th here, and then we're going to take a look at this first pick. We had Tyrese Maxey over on points and assists, and unfortunately in this game he ended up going 16, so he ended up having 23 points and assists, and we needed him for 32. Like, what went wrong in this game was, I mean, honestly, not a lot of usage out of Maxey. They really ended up leaning on Paul George. Like, pretty much everybody but Maxey got a higher usage. They got dog walked by the Celtics in this game. I think the end result actually ended up looking closer than what the game really was at face value. So this was just, I feel like it was a bad read on my end just because of, all the blow potential there's been. Like, I mean, the Celtics just dealt with the Knicks by, like, 30 plus no competition. So, I mean, like, the Celtics really are just more elite than these teams that they're facing. And, yeah, this was definitely a bad look on my end. You expect Maxey to perform well against the Celtics because they have, but I just shouldn't have expected that the 76ers were going to put up this, like, grand fight against the Celtics that are just, they look really good out there, man. I was just watching the Celtics and Knicks game, and yeah, it's rough facing the Celtics, no doubt. And then Ja Morant over 29.5 points and assists. I don't even need to look to kind of know what's going on with this, but this was bad. Like, I remember watching this game, and yeah, it was definitely disappointing shit to see. Ja ends up shooting 4 for 15, ends up with 18 points and assists there, so definitely nowhere close to enough. That was I don't even know. It did feel like a good read, but it just didn't come through. Jared Allen double-double. I know that this hit, but I'm just going to, quickly show you guys here for clarification. So where do we have this here for this game? Yeah, so we look at the 20th here. Go look at the Cavs. Oh, wrong one. Back here. Yeah, so we look at this Cavs one here. Jared Allen, 16 points, 20 rebounds. So that definitely was a great read on our end. He almost doubles up his fucking double-double here. So an absolute no sweat. I think, he may have even had these rebounds by halftime. But, yep, this it is it. 7 offensive boards here, an awesome rebound. Even Evan Mobley ends up with 33 rebounds grabbed by those two in that affair. And then finally, James Harden. I think this was literally the hook of all hooks. This is what prevented us from having profit on the day. Let me just clarify. It's Thursday. Yes, sir. Going here. And then James Harden. No, my bad. He only had 8 assists. Yeah, close and competitive matchup. Just, not all the, shots were falling here. I think what could have made this a bad read was just the fact that Norman Powell doesn't play in this game, and Harden does get a lot of his looks off of, passing to Norman Powell as far as his assists. So I feel like that was part of my decision making going into it, was the fact that Powell would have been playing at this time, but he did not end up playing. Yeah, Harden has a poor shooting game from the 3 that game. Everyone else kind of shoots within reason, but there's not enough assists for Harden. He did get his points, of course, but only 8 assists there, so a rough 1 for 3 day ultimately for that. But now we're gonna look into our profitable day that's here to come. So I don't know why I kind of changed up into here, but we're just gonna copy that. Oh, not do that. Okay. Copy that, bring it down to the bottom. And now we're going to fly through our picks and some of our reasoning behind it here. So we had Ausar Thompson. Just going to pull him up here. So yeah, Ausar Thompson. And we have him over 18.5 points and rebounds. Or actually, no, we got him even better at over 18. So maybe the line has fallen just a little bit here. But nonetheless, that's good for us because we thought that this was a great read. So we're taking a look at Ausar Thompson and his performance as of late. He has gone over this line a little bit less than 45% in his last 20 games. But we have to keep in mind as well that in his last 10, he's been seeing just a little bit more minutes. Just a little bit more minutes here in his last 10. And he has hit this in 60% of his last 10. When we look at the few games where he hasn't here, we're going to look at the one that's most glaring. On the 31st, he plays 23 minutes, only 2 points, 4 rebounds. Field goal attempts was only 4, and he's averaging 8.3. When we look at his last 5 matchups, he has gone over 8 in all 5 of them as far as field goals attempted. So he's getting a little bit more involved with this Pistons offense. As a whole, the Pistons have been playing better recently, so I think that this will go hand in hand with having a competitive matchup against the Clippers. Clippers are also off of a back-to-back here, I believe. So that definitely goes a long way. Let me just quickly make sure that the Pistons were not. Yeah, so the Pistons played today. Did they play yesterday? Yeah, so yesterday. Oh, wow. Yesterday they faced the Hawks in a big win. That definitely brings momentum into tonight's game, and also being at home, a great way to cap off this back-to-back on a win. The Clippers get destroyed by the Pacers yesterday. It was actually, I believe it was a bit closer than it does show. Like, I think it was kind of close leading up to the final quarter. But yeah, I know as far as, we take a look at the Clippers injury report. Clippers injury status: Norman Powell still out, Kawhi out. It looks like Harden will be playing tonight, but I mean, it's pretty much Harden versus all the Pistons. A great defensive team. I think it's a great matchup. A great opportunity for Ausar Thompson to get his points and rebounds. LA Clippers defense is 26th in points allowed to opposing small forwards, and 23rd when it comes to rebounds to opposing small forwards. So I do think that this is a great look for Ausar Thompson to get his points and rebounds here. As we know, he is a guy that can go off as far as his rebounds go. With, times where he has 9, 7, 8 rebounds. He only averages 5. So when you take that into account, he does average a little bit under 18 points and rebounds. But as well, this is a play that you definitely could shave down a little bit and use as a parlay leg. But I think at 18 points and rebounds, this is a great opportunity for Ausar Thompson to get his buckets, get his rebounds. And yeah, so we're going to just quickly fly into the next play. I don't want to keep the video length too long now. Russell Westbrook. And this is here. I've been trying to watch it as much as possible, the Nuggets injury report. And still day-to-day listed as probable. So it seems like Jamal Murray could play, is likely to play. But at the same time, he may not. We're still either way. Obviously, if he doesn't play, this works out much better for our bet, but at the same time, I think, Westbrook gets his minutes, gets his play time with or without Jamal Murray being part of the, issue. Based on this, he always sees his 24 to 25 minutes. Obviously a great passer. So for here, what we were looking at is his points plus assists at 18. I do think that this is a very reasonable line for him. I think this is a good opportunity against a Pacers defense. Like, the name is all... they're definitely named the Pacers for a reason. They have the highest pace offense in the league. So you can definitely expect them to push the tempo each and every game. The lines are always set for a high game line. And I think, this is Westbrook's atmosphere. He plays the best when, the game's hectic. The game's all over the place. And, when we take a look at him in his last 20, he's gone over this in 69% of these games. Look, there's a little bit less than 20 games. There's more like 13 games here. But of these last 13, he's went over in 9 of the last 13 games. And he's facing an Indiana defense that's 21st in points allowed in general, 29th in points allowed to opposing point guards. As we just seen James Harden come off a 30-point, 10 assist game plus against them in a loss. I think, deeper and deeper that we get towards playoffs, the Clippers will be, no, sorry, not the Clippers, the Nuggets will be leaning on Westbrook so much more for contributions, especially in these games now where we're seeing Jokic get doubled and triple teamed as a valuable option, like, against the Lakers. And what did that result in? That resulted in Westbrook getting his 17 points, 1 assist. And it's like, we don't even need Westbrook to score 17 points. Like, a lot of times he is going to get a couple more assists for us, and that's really going to help balance out this line. But yeah, we look at the Westbrook's most recent endeavor against the Pacers. I mean, this was still last year, so these things have to be taken into account. But I mean, 21 points and assists against them is promising in that. But yeah, I definitely really do like this look for Westbrook here. And going on to our next bet, we have Trae Young over 10.5 assists. I mean, he's coming off of last night having an absolute battle with Cade Cunningham. I think that was, a great betting opportunity for people that game. Yeah, and he's been on an absolute tear, like 38 points in his last 3 games. That's why I'm kind of saying I feel like he's due for some regression as far as that, so I'm definitely kind of staying away from that. But as far as Trae Young's assists, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think he has 13 assists in the same game that he scores 38 points, or 19 assists. The assists have been a little bit less consistent, and if you really were to think that this is an every other game sort of thing, that he would be due to go under. But this is a great matchup for him against the Miami defense. It's not the best matchup for him scoring wise, but for the rest of his team, it gets a little bit easier. And the Heat defense was 26 in assists allowed to opposing point guards, so I think that makes this line just ever so more desirable for Trae Young to hit his assists there. In his last 20, he's gone over this a little bit less. He's gone over this about 40% of the time. It's not even like I'm necessarily too worried about hit rate, because at the same time you have to consider, like, why is this the case? Who have they been facing? And it does look like, in these past games where he does not reach his assist total. So I don't know why it's not showing fucking Trae Young here. Yeah, when we look at Trae Young's assist totals and in games he hasn't gotten it, Orlando Magic, just an absolute defensive juggernaut, and they end up losing that game. And then Orlando, again, another defensive juggernaut, they don't get the points. Milwaukee's great defense. I mean, their backward defense will struggle a little bit, but yeah, definitely a great interior presence where the Hawks are getting a lot of their other buckets from. Only has 7 assists. Pistons, another great defensive team at any time. Like against Indiana, 17 points there. 17 assists there. We check his assists head to head. He's gone over this all 3 times against Miami. Last time facing Miami, a little bit after Christmas there, he had 15 points on 11 points. And I think I did see a lot of people heavy on Trae Young's points under. So I think this could go hand in hand as him looking into being into more of a facilitation role rather than the scorer. And finally, we have Anthony Edwards, someone who just battled last night, but like many other teams come to understand, it is not easy buying a win against OKC. I mean, watching how Shea carved up this OKC defense was definitely interesting stuff, no doubt. Like, I did not expect like such dominance, but it was like, yeah, like this foul stuff. It's no mystery to me why he gets fouled so much. It's just because he's hard to guard, and when someone's hard to guard, you have to resort to fouling him. So I don't even necessarily agree with all that free throw merch and stuff that they be throwing around, but nonetheless, we're going to look at Anthony Edwards over 32.5 points and rebounds. Literally going up against OKC, exactly the same situation as last night, except for the fact that we're in OKC. I don't really think that this changes all too much for the game's layout. And if anything, I know Chet is out now, and he's been listed as out. So I think that definitely helps Anthony Edwards as far as like going into the interior and everything like that. I think over 33 points plus rebound is a steal, because I really would expect this to be another competitive matchup. Even at times yesterday when Timberwolves were down almost 20. They didn't give up. They're looking to battle. I mean, if you're looking to be a playoff contending team, you can't just drop games to playoff contenders with no fight, no sense of urgency. So I think that, I mean, the Timberwolves have got to be feeling the pressure to compete. And if anyone has to feel the pressure, it is Anthony Edwards. Like, he is supposed to be, the top talent on this team. I'd hate to say leaders. I mean, they definitely do have some other options as far as a leader. Maybe that doesn't really make sense to fall on Anthony Edwards' shoulders. But, I mean, fuck, he's averaging 23 shots per game. He's coming off 21. Like, they'll let him throw up 32 shots. Like, they're always going to let him throw up as many fucking shots as in this whole line. So, I mean, I think that this is a no-brainer to take this one. I think even if it doesn't hit, I'm still left thinking that this was a great matchup for him. 21st in rebounds to opposing shooting guards. 14th in points to opposing shooting guards. But, again, not every shooting guard is like Anthony Edwards, so I would definitely take that part, with a grain of salt and everything. But I think those are my 4 best prop bets, if anything. Finally, we'll just have a quick look here at the spreads and everything like that. So, Piston money line. Let me just quickly pull this up here so I get all the odds correct for you guys off FanDuel. I don't even really know what sportsbook is the most popular with everybody. Like, I know that, oh shit, what's that one? Fucking Prize Picks is a big one, but unfortunately that isn't even in Ontario, or else I would love to use that. But actually, I got Pistons money line at plus money, and it is now minus 120. So it's always a shame when the lines are moving constantly, because, like, I might find a good play, but then it's like by the time people see it, or, like, it's almost like it would be nice for you guys to get these plays fucking just right away. The moment I get them, you guys get them. And, I'll be looking to have something like that in the future, no doubt. The Nuggets minus 5. My bad, I can't have that at 106. Right now, it's available for minus 120. You could go pick this up. I still think that there is good value. I mean, I think the Pistons should be favored in this 100%. Looking at the Hawks money line, we have that at minus 118. I got that earlier at plus 102. So yeah, 2 lines that were plus money that aren't anymore. Stuff like that really does make a big difference over time, especially if you are putting in bets frequently and everything. And yeah, the 76ers, I got them at minus 4.5. That line is still the same. That's at minus 108. And the Nuggets minus 5 has actually dropped a little, so there has been a little bit of betting in the Pacers' favor. So the Nuggets are actually at minus 4.5, which might as well be minus 5, but at least if they did win by 5, it's not going to push anymore. So you have that at minus 4.5 at the odds of minus 110. I think, honestly, I like all of these plays. I think that if you were to put, one unit on all 4 of these, that at least 2 of them are going to hit, if not 3. So I think that this is a really good deal here. And you even could look to parlay these together. But yeah, I would recommend, you kind of pick out of these which one you feel is the best. And then we can kind of, you can kind of go from there as far as, your gut feeling on these. These are 8 picks that I think have a good opportunity of hitting. And then definitely tomorrow we will be back with a recap to see what went on. So yeah, thank you guys.